Well, good evening, everybody. It's Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Let's get to it. It is time to answer a really important question, and that question is, have you ever heard of the Elgato Stream Deck? If you have, great. If you haven't, that's even better. Because I'm going to ask you question number two. Do you want using your computer to be easier, more efficient, faster? All the different software that you use, be able to work with it and not have to know every button to push or every menu choice to pick every time you want to do something? Well, tonight, stick with me because I'm going to introduce you to this magical device that I started using a little over a year ago. And it has made a tremendous difference in how I use my computer and how effective I am. And I want to bring that to you. So we're going to talk about what this thing is and what forms it come in, what it looks like, a teeny bit of tease about what you can do with it, and then we're going to take the rest of the month to dive into using this device in a way that makes it very productive for you. Well, we're going to get right to it, but first, let me just tell you who I am. I'm Florence. I'm your host. I coach professionals, faith-based leaders, nonprofit executives, and a whole bunch of other people on how to make their productivity system more productive. I call it fixing the friction because what happens is we all have points of friction, and I come alongside you and help you get rid of those points of friction so that you can achieve your goals on purpose and have fun doing it and achieve value in your life. So, what is this Elgato Stream Deck? Before we get into it, I want to see who's out there with us and say hello to some folks, and then I will start answering those questions. So, we have in the building with us, of course, we have none other than the emotional CEO who always reminds me, happy Live Tribe, welcome Live Tribe. If you're in the chat, if you're watching, and maybe you're not able to be in the building with us because you're cooking or running an errand or on your way home from the office, welcome. You're a part of the Live Tribe. And if you're part of that magical replay crew that I love hearing from, welcome and thank you for joining in and watching us and getting this information. Who else is out there? And he's also one of our moderators, by the way. We also have Frank Jackson in the building with us, one of our moderators. Thank you, Frank, for always being out there serving the community. And I thought I saw, yes, I did. All right. We have none other than Troublemaker, Tech Troublemaker. Well, glad that you are joining from your phone. I know personally that you happen to know a little bit about the Stream Deck, so maybe you'll join in and share some tips that maybe I won't share tonight, but you can share. So that's who's here with us that's commenting right now. Glad to have you guys in the building. We're going to go ahead and talk about just exploring this Stream Deck for productivity. So I'm going to do something, and I don't know if you're really going to see it, but what is it? This thing is magical. I'm going to try to show you a picture of mine if I can hold it up without tearing something up here. But this is what it looks like. Some of them. This is the medium-sized one, but it's just a little controller that you can program buttons to do all kind of things. You see I've got icons on mine, and we can talk about that in the later show. But it's a little controller that allows you to manage and do all kinds of things with your computer. And so it makes it easier to work with anything that you're doing on the computer. So right now, it only works with the computer. Maybe one day they'll move it to some other devices, but it's really for your computer. Doesn't matter whether you're using a Windows computer or a Mac computer, it will work. So that's what it is. It's a controller to work with various software on your computer. So let's talk about, well, I've told you what it is, but I'm going to get into a little bit more because there are multiple form factors, and so I want to go through those, but that's basically what this thing is. The second thing I want to talk about is why I use it. I kind of teased it, but I really want to dig into this with you a bit more. First of all, this device allows you to be much more efficient. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. When I sit down to use my computer, I push one button and it opens up like 4 different websites that I know I'm going to use in a particular work situation. Instead of using the mouse or the keyboard and finding those websites in my, I forgot what they're called, when you save them in your browser, I don't do that anymore. They're just all on the Stream Deck, push a button, and then I can go on and do something else, and in a few seconds they're all open and ready for me to work with them. And that's just a simple, very simple, but it's a powerful way. If you're looking to be productive, you don't have to remember how to type in the web addresses or what they are or anything. So it's using features of your computer. The Stream Deck started for live streamers, imagine that, streamers, Stream Deck, and gamers primarily, to help them run things, run the software and the games that they were running. That's how it started, but it has moved way beyond that, and people are using it like I do, and hopefully like you will after this month is over, to simply be more productive and be more efficient, because this is the reason. Part of the reason you want to be more efficient is allows you to get through your work faster. I call it saving microseconds. Most people want to think about hours. No, it's the microseconds that make a big difference. So if you can do something in 2 seconds that would have taken you 10 seconds, adding that extra 10 seconds up over time will gain you efficiency that you wouldn't get. And time, we all have the same amount, and it's the sole non-renewable resource that we have. Once those seconds are gone, they're gone. There's nothing you can do to get them back. So being able to use them more wisely is the reason that this thing has made such a big difference to me, and I hope when we finish tonight you will find out it'll make a big difference for you. The second reason that I want to, and I just used it to change the screen. The second reason that I want to call it out is that it gives you more versatility. By that I mean, regardless of what you do, you're an account executive, you do account executive, so you're filling out information in the CRM and having to open the CRM. You are a graphic designer. You are an executive of a nonprofit. There are lots of ways you use your computer every day. Well, this thing allows you to put different features together. Let me give you an example. I gave you one, but there's a more detailed example I'll share with you, and I'm going to tell you, as you know, I share with you ways that I use things. I don't use someone else's. One of the ways I also use it is when I get ready to go live, I have one button that I push, and it performs multiple actions on the computer without me doing a whole lot else. So I've set it up, and it just runs through these 4 or 5 different steps that I want to do. That means I'm not spending that time and perhaps doing them out of order, perhaps forgetting one, perhaps forgetting where to find the option on the screen. It just does it. And so that's another way I use it, and it gives me the versatility, because if I want to change how any of that works, I change this one button and everything else falls in place. I can even do things like rearrange the windows on my computer screen for software, so that if I'm working in a different work mode, the windows that I see what is open is in a particular location. So that's the versatility part. There's tons that you can do with it. It is like a Swiss Army knife for your computer. That's what I'll call it. Then the last reason I'm going to say is it allows you to be immersed in this environment, you can do things. When I showed you mine, I have icons that I've made and put on there. So those icons have meaning to me. And so when I see them, I don't have to think, well, what is that? What am I trying to do? The icon, I look at it and it tells me. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to hold this up. We're going to go into this in more detail. But this first option, first button has a finger like this. That means that's the first point I want to make. Right next to it is 2. That's the second point I want to make. The third one is 3. That's the third point I want to make. I can immerse in this content and not be wondering, okay, which one of these am I trying to get to? Similarly, when I fill out information, you all have who've heard me before, but if you have not, there's a video on the several videos and actually a playlist about using text expansion. I use it to trigger text expansion snippets for things. I can be immersed in what I'm trying to do and what I want to accomplish without having to worry about what am I typing in? What does it look like? Did I get the right thing? My mind can get into a flow state because I'm not worried about trying to navigate around the computer. So those are reasons that you would want to use it. So I'm going to share something here very quickly because Roy puts an interesting thing up here. He says, I use it to change scenes, add overlays, play music when streaming and recording. I also use it for video editing as it works with so many programs. Absolutely, Roy. It does work with, you have a program on your computer, there's a way to make the Stream Deck work with it. There is absolutely a way to make the Stream Deck work with it. So that's really awesome. So let's move on to the third thing, and that is I want to talk about the models, because I said there's more than one, and I have the middle one. So I'm going to go through what these models are because you have lots of choices, and the choices that you would make would depend on a number of factors. And as I go through them, start to think about what makes sense. If I don't use this today and I've never tried it, how does this make sense in the work that I do and in the way I use my computer? Whether you're watching movies, whether you're gaming, whether you're writing, whether you're designing, it doesn't matter what. If you're working in spreadsheets, it definitely will make a difference. So the first one I'm going to talk about is what's called the Stream Deck Mini. And in order for me to show you this, I'm going to go to their website and show you pictures. So the website is www.elgato.com, and they have different, yes, you're correct, Roy, it does work with Teams. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go to the Stream Deck, which is the fourth icon over. And the first one I'm going to talk about is, don't get old, you can't see. I think this is the correct one. Yeah, this is the baby. It's the Stream Deck Mini. It's a little baby version, and it's got 6 buttons on it. There's magic in those 6 buttons, though. So it's got 6 buttons. I was introduced to this with seeing for the first time the Stream Deck Mini. And I was introduced to it because I was watching someone talk about how they were working with their media ministry at their church. And they showed a training where they were training their volunteer team to use this little 6-button keypad to change all of the screens in the church presentation software and to switch cameras for the church, for the church's live stream. So the volunteers did not have to learn the church presentation software, nor did they really have to know how to go into software. Don't start, see you causing trouble. I'm ignoring you for right now. I'm talking to Tech Troublemaker, y'all. He's over here causing trouble in the comments. But they were teaching people how to use, who maybe they don't do this, but they were volunteering for the church. So great tool if you have limited capabilities that you need to have a team use. and you just want them to have something very straightforward. So this little baby 6-key Stream Deck was the way to start. The next one, the next one is the one that I have, which is I'm going to go to this one because it's the same size. It's the 15 key. So there are 15 key. I didn't change it. Hold on a second. See, I got to learn how to use a mouse. Okay, why is it not changing, y'all? Let's see if this oh, nope, not that one. I'm going to talk about that one later. Not that one. Not that one either. Y'all know when I try to do something on the, see, this is why I should have did this with the Stream Deck. I thought I was going to be fancy and do the whole website thing. So I will skip to this one and I'll come back to it. This one is called the Stream Deck Plus. It has buttons. It has like a soft window slider that you can use, and then it has 4 knobs. So it's really a good one to use. So in total, you have like 32 options, 32 buttons when you add all of that up together and the way it works. So you can configure those buttons. You can configure the knobs where you can push them in and you can turn them. Great if you're using music and like movies where you want to control the sound. These knobs make it easy to make adjustments to the sound. That would be a great use case for them. But the buttons, you program it. And just let me say this, all of them work with the same software. And so you use the Stream Deck software to set all of these buttons and knobs up for use. And you see there are different icons on there. So this is another view. This is the view of the Stream Deck Plus. Okay. Then there is also, I'm going to try this again and see if I can get, this is the one that Roy's talking about, the Stream Deck XL. It is the big granddaddy. It has 32 buttons on the face of it. So that means you can have 32 different things going on, combinations of functions on your computer, 32 of them just laid out and you push a button. A friend of mine says this is like the Jetsons. Push a button and it happens. Except this is not your whole house. Although I have to tell you, if you have programmable lights, you can control the lights in your house from this thing. So it can be a little bit like the Jetsons. I wouldn't say go much more than that, but you can definitely control the lights if you're using programmable lights. So it's a 32 button one. It's the big daddy. And as someone just said, a lot of people will switch to that big one because they've got more real estate to work with. The other one is, let me get this out of my way. All right. Yep. I'm trying to get down here. That's the 32 key one. Still. That's the plus. That's the baby. I'm trying to get to the one that I have, Roy. It won't let me. Oh. Okay. The next form factor is the Stream Deck pedal. This is one that you put on the floor and it has 3 buttons and you control them with your feet instead of pushing buttons on it's not sitting on the desk. It's just, you have it on the floor. I even know of someone who has 2 of these, so they control 3 buttons with one foot and 3 buttons with the other foot. I think that would be a little bit too much for me to be trying to work with buttons, that many buttons, and control them with my feet. But it has a button on the left, a button on the right, and the big button in the center. And you can control these. So if you're doing work and you don't need to be able to control a whole bunch of different buttons at one time, this is a great solution, especially if you don't want to be using, you just want to be able to use your feet and control it. So that's the Stream Deck pedal. Different form factor, works exactly the same way. The last one that I want to get to what is my computer doing? I want to get to the center one, but it's not letting me. Okay, yeah, every time I try to pick the regular Stream Deck, it's not letting me. And I don't know why. So what I'm going to say to you, since I can't do it, go to the website and you'll see the 15 key one. The last piece that I'm going to talk about, if I can get to it, is not a physical device, but this is the one that I'm really excited about, actually, in some ways more than the physical ones. It's Stream Deck Mobile. So there's an app, both Android and iOS. You put it on your device and it will control your computer from your device. Why, oh why, Florence, are you so excited about this? Because if you are a professional and you're moving back and forth, you're going to the office, you're moving your laptop, you don't want, in my opinion, I don't want to carry this physical controller with me back and forth. I want to leave that on my desk so I can have the device software on my phone and still have all of my features working with my laptop wherever I am. That is the reason I am excited about it, because it allows you to have the features, the functions, the buttons with you, with your laptop, regardless of where you go, just on your phone. That's huge. There are, just like with the physical, there are different, I'm going to say different form factors of the mobile app as well. Today, Elgato, you can get the 6-key version of the app. It's absolutely free. And you get the little baby 6-key Stream Deck on your phone. It's free to get, and it'll be free forever. Then you can go to a paid plan, and there are 2 versions of that. And at that point, you can either put the 15 key or the 32 key or 68 keys. And I think someone said they could put up to 132 keys. I'm like, 100 and anything number of keys on an iPad would be too much for my brain to comprehend. But if you want that many, you could have that many. And you could have it on multiple devices. If you have an iPad and an iPhone, or an Android phone and an Android tablet, you could put it on both and it would work. There are 2 ways to pay for the mobile app. There are 3 ways actually. There's a monthly subscription at $2.99. There's an annual subscription at $24.99 for the year. And this is the one, if you're going to invest the money, I recommend. There's a one-time lifetime purchase of the app for $49. You pay for it once, you don't pay for it again. That's my speed. I don't particularly care for subscriptions, even though we know software these days, almost everything is a subscription. So when I can get rid of a subscription, I want to get rid of a subscription. So, but yeah, those are the options. So to try it for you as a professional, as a faith-based leader, as a nonprofit executive, I would encourage, and we'll talk about this, trying the app first, because you can do it without making the investment. You can get your feet wet a little bit, and then you can decide which way you want to go. We're going to get into that. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up a couple of comments here. And so Tech Troublemaker says the Plus is on his wish list. Okay. And you love to play music, so that would make sense to me that the Plus would be on your... The emotional CEO is laughing at you, Roy. Just saying. And this one, I've heard some people say they've had problems, and I've also heard people say that they've sent them back and Elgato replaces them with no questions asked. But I also have had several people say that they use the pedal and they work just fine and they haven't had problems. So the question, there is a question here: does it work remotely? Depends on what you mean by remotely. The computer, if you're using the mobile app, the computer and your mobile device, let's say your phone, must be on the same network. So if they're on the same network, then let's say you're walking down the hall and your laptop and your phone are connected to the same network. As long as you've got the Stream Deck software running on your computer, yeah, you can control it from down the hall. But if you're saying you're in one part of town and it's in another part of town, that's not going to work. So it depends on what you mean by does it work remotely. So that was the question, does it work remotely? And that's, so there's, depends on what you mean by, isn't that a consulting answer? That is such a consultant's answer. It depends. But that's really the answer. It depends on what you mean by remotely. So those are the form factors that I wanted to go through with you all and share with you, because if you don't understand what they are, then it just sounds like, okay, I'm going to buy one. There are 6, 7, 8 different form factors, but by the time you add in the mobile ones, so there's the mini, there's the original 15 key, there's a newer model 15 key, there's a 32 key, there's the 60, the Stream Deck Plus, there's the Stream Deck Pedal, and then there's the mobile app, which you can have multiple buttons on from 6 to, I'm going to say from 6 to 68, because I'm not going into hundreds of buttons on one of these things. So that's really the device. Next week, we're going to start diving into how to use it in specific use cases. And those use cases are all around being productive. I'm going to tell you now. Hey, Philip, with your cute puppy. I'm enjoying your content, sir. Keep it up. Let me just say hi to this gentleman. If you guys have not, his channel is, I want to call it Leap of Faith or Next Leap of Faith. Philip, put the name of your channel where you're putting the content in, and he's doing some phenomenal content out there, and he's posting twice a week, and he will challenge your thinking biblically about how you read the Bible, what you get out of it. Please, if you're a person of faith, go check out Philip's work. It is phenomenal. So I appreciate having you all here. So you guys know, if you've ever watched me, I like giving you takeaways. And so we're going to talk about takeaways. But before we go into takeaways, I'm going to remind you, if you have not subscribed to this channel, Equip Institute, today we're considering changing the name. Just a little teaser. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can hit the notification bell so you know when we're posting or when we're live. Would love to have you a part of the Equipping You family, and we will be getting back into our regular routine with some of our resources and things like that. I think I felt like I needed a little bit of a summer break, and I was in the midst of a huge engagement and got a little bit off track, but it's okay. Thank you, Philip. Your channel is at Next Step of Faith. See, I just have it and I just go look at it, so I'm a little airhead. Yeah, I know, with what did I say? All my extraness. So that's part of my extraness. So let's say the first thing I'm going to say to you is, I start with lists. You all know that. So just grab a Post-it note, your notebook, your planner, your Evernote, whatever you use, and just start thinking about how would you use the Stream Deck. Not even which one, but how would you use it? That's the first thing to think about. Not which one you'll buy. What could you see using it for? And I'm going to give you this opportunity. If you want to talk about it, hey, connect with me and we can do a 15-minute call. We can talk through it. No charge to you. Then we can move on. The second thing I'm going to say, once you've done that, start looking at the strengths of each of the models. There are people, like some in the chat tonight, who said the 6 key would make you mad. There are others who will say the 15 key will make you mad. I will tell you, I have the 15 key and I've figured out how to make it work for me, and I haven't been tempted to use the 32 key. I'm very partial as a beginner to use the mobile app because it is so flexible and you can do so much with it. So, but consider the strengths of each. And the last thing that you want to consider is your budget and your future needs. These things do have a cost. If you looked at them, they as cheap as $2.99 a month, or upwards of a couple of $100 for the XL. I think it's $2.99 for the XL. I have to go back and look to see how much it costs. So consider your budget and your future needs. So those are the 3 action steps that I would encourage you to take as we think about this. How would you use it? Which form factor or which model would make most sense for you as getting started with it? And the last one, your budget and your future needs. And with that, I'm going to say hello to someone who just came in, and then we are actually going to be finished tonight. And that is this young lady, if you have not, and I am loving your apron. You just finished 31 days. Apron Diva, 31 days. A new apron showed up every day with some cute models. But hey, no worries. You're never late, Denise. I always enjoy having you in the building with us. So, and I'm going to put this up here and you can grab it. Philip's channel is Next Step of Faith. He's doing a fantastic job. And he also said he wants to purchase one. Well, you won't regret it if you do, but go through those 3 steps before you make a decision on which one you want to get. And with that, we really covered everything tonight. If you have any other questions, I'll give you a few seconds to put your questions in. And Denise put it, I've been noticing how you and Walter and Tech use the Stream Deck. Well, thank you. Yes, I'm getting better. I'm getting much better, and I'm adding so many functions and features to it and things that I do. I'm almost to the point like without my Stream Deck, I'm a little bit lost. So, and yes, you did look like you were having fun with your aprons and the different ones that you're designing and making available. So, and I really like the way you ended that up. So that's awesome. Well, everybody, that is it for tonight. So what I'm going to say to you is, I'm going to say good night. Go do your 3 action steps for your Elgato Stream Deck. And next week, we're going to dive into actually using it to be productive. Good night, everybody.